What a one, Pride. Sorry about that. Had a cut out of power at my end. The weather's been a bit naff up here and it's been playing with all my electronics up here. So sorry about that. But yeah, we're just going to crack back on where we got to before. So where were we? Ryan, we were talking USC Cal. Let's start again. So USC 50, Cal 49. Once again, talking about Lincoln Riley, talking about USC. One of the biggest, most fraudulent teams in college football this season, and again, nearly beaten, nearly upset by the Golden Bears.
Yeah, it's to be expected now, isn't it? I think everyone's worked out that Trojans week in, week out, offense most likely will look really good. Defense will look bad and will keep any team on any given day, give them an opportunity to hang around as long as possible and potentially scare them with an upset. It means they can't be a playoff team. It don't matter how big they win the Pac-12 title game if they go out there and like hammer Washington. I don't. It makes the whole thing murky, like how people will make the case for them, but you just know they don't belong there. Caleb Williams still doing everything. I think right at this moment in time he's playing for draft stock, not for the Trojans. I think he's trying to lock up that first overall selection.
Yeah.
And then have the opportunity to work out who's going to finish there. Does he want to play for them? Because he seems to think that he controls his own destiny completely. It's not really how it works. But yeah, Lincoln Riley, the future for him seems somewhat uncertain. If you fail at USC, like one of the biggest sporting icons programs in the nation, where will he end up? How long will they give him to fix this very lopsided football team? I'm honestly not too sure, but it's going to have to happen quickly. So, yeah, and Cal's showing all the right traits. They're turning the corner. They're doing the good things well. They still have a lot of stuff to work on, but they're a very much work in progress team, the Golden Bears. So for them, this loss won't really bother them. They'll just take all the positives from it.
No, and you look at the offense for Cal this year. 58 points against North Texas, 31 against Idaho, then into conference, 32 against Washington, 24 against yourselves against Arizona State, 40 against Oregon State, 49 against USC. I mean, at least one side of the ball they seem to have figured out. And the Jaden Ott, those guys there, that's a lot of points for a Cal team who, like you said, previous years, traditionally, they've just been awful.
Yeah, scoring points is not the problem. Which is funny because it seems to be a trend this season. Scoring points is not the issue. Colorado, USC, and Cal, they can score quite heavily, but can they keep it out? Can they keep teams out of the end zone, manage the clock? It's hit and miss out there. That's probably the one big thing they need to work on. Big Ten seems like all defense. Pac-12 this year, a lot of offense, defense.
And you know the shocking thing for USC? 0 havoc plays in this. No tackles for loss, no sacks, no nothing. Cal had 4 sacks on Caleb Williams, and that offensive line full of 4 and 5 star recruits. USC didn't have a damn thing. That's just, it's crazy, and I don't get it. But anyhow, we move on. We're on to the pick watch games now. So you went 4-6 this week. I went 5-5 star recruits. It was a difficult week for us, coming off a good one here. But Liberty 42, Western Kentucky 29. That was the early game of the week. The Flames remain undefeated. They are one of the best teams going at the moment, and they seem to have the CUSA on lock. There were some big blowouts in this. I know that you are never, ever, 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 ever going to trust Florida again. Georgia 41, Florida 22. Georgia got ahead in this early and never looked back, and Florida didn't lay a finger on them. And for as bad as Florida were, it seems scary that now Georgia seem to be waking up a little bit and starting to lay a hammering on teams.
Yeah, they've finally woken up. They're they're just making life a bit easy for themselves, aren't they? They're just giving themselves bigger cushions, winning games more convincingly. Started the season slowly, but they've slowly picked up momentum, and they're at the business point now. And yeah, unfortunately for the Gators, any slither of hope has been extinguished. Fortunately, they came up against their test and they got an F.
A big F indeed. And for Georgia, one more win now against Mizzou this week, and that's pretty much their part of the SEC done up for the year. Other games going on. The Utah train finally came to a crashing halt. I've been on Utah for a while now, but no Cam Rising, no Brent Kuithe. Always was going to catch up on them. Oregon 35, Utah 6, and this was an ass whooping in every sense, literal and physical of the word, Ryan. This was what we had expected to happen to Utah sooner.
Yeah, I thought it'd be closer. I did not think it'd be this one-sided. I was very shocked to see the score, if I'm honest. I knew the Utah D would slow down Oregon. I didn't think it'd just roll over and have its belly tickled. And we've now seen the ceiling of a Utah team without Cam Rising and Brent Quaidlet. Like you say, we now know what they are and what they are, and tender, and they've been put in their place by the Bo Nix steam train. Like it keeps on chugging. The Ducks, despite the loss to Washington, they have responded really well. That's how a team should respond to a really upsetting loss. You go through and you rattle some teams off. So I am by no means ruling out Oregon of a playoff place and winning the Pac-12. I'd be foolish to rule them out.
Yeah, absolutely. They look like they might be the second team behind Washington now. Brent goes, thanks for sticking with us, Brent, through that power cut. Caleb needs to do less commercials and more football. I kind of feel like that's the same with Paddy Mahomes and Travis Kelce and all that. It seems like they're more interested in doing TV than football now, I must admit. I do like Caleb's skits, but he does Dr. Pepper, he does the Heisman House, he does all sorts at this moment in time. Maybe he does need to cut the commercials back and focus on his football more. Duke got blown out by Louisville 23-0. We know that injury to Riley Leonard has destroyed their season. Mentioned UCLA earlier, 28-16 winners over Colorado. You were the lone believer in the Buffs, right? But I mean, this is the third worst rushing offense in football, 78 yards per game, and when you can't run the football, you end up in third and long, and a defense is going to be able to tee off on you. And Christ, UCLA absolutely decimated Shedeur Sanders. It's been a while since I've seen a QB take such a hammering. I mean, like, his first 16 plays or something, there were like 15 pressures and 4 sacks, and the numbers were stupidly absurd, but that UCLA defense is stupidly good, and they absolutely killed the Buffaloes.
Yeah. It's by far the toughest game he's probably ever had. Was it 27 pressures, 15 quarterback hits, 5 sacks? Something stupid like that, innit?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, Shedeur Sanders didn't even play bad. He didn't turn the ball over,
No.
and he still got decent yardage. So for every time they hit him, he was still getting the ball out quickly. But yeah, the Buffaloes, Coach Prime needs to go out. He needs to get the boosters checkbook, and next year they need to get the best running back in the country. Whoever it may be, they've got to go out and find a way to bring them in, because otherwise they're not doing anything. They know they've been exposed now. Yeah. Total one-dimensional offense, and this week got taken away.
Yeah, tempt Jade Knott from Cal. I don't think he's eligible till 2026. He's still got a few years left in him yet, so bring him with you to the Big 12. But imagine, recruit some offensive linemen first, because
Coach Klein did say, didn't he, that I'm basically going to, if the linemen suck, I will replace you. and I'm going to go get some new ones.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. There's going to be massive turnover in the trenches for them for sure. Mile Marker says, yeah, you're here again. Sorry, Mile Marker, the weather is awful my way and it's been messing with communications all day and it just knocked out my internet briefly enough to get us kicked off. So I apologise about that, but thank you for sticking with us. The weather's just absolutely atrocious here at the minute. Where were we? Oh, I'm just going to rub my nose smugly together here because Boise State absolutely whomped Wyoming. And you bet on the Cowboys last week, right? But this was 32-7. Wyoming not on your Christmas card list right now. Boise, and I mean, this was a whooping of whoopings.
Yeah. I went back to the watering hole too many times. The Cowboys have looked good. Had an absolute stinker. I said the Broncos just handled business fairly comfortably.
Yeah, it wasn't great for them. And God, where are the others? There's a few more. We both got Texas State wrong. They got whooped by Troy 31-13. Even though they were leading 13-10 at one point, they were very competitive in the first half. But Troy, big game occasion, came forward. The Bobcats couldn't quite get it done there. And then the heartbreaker, the UNLV Rebels, my sixth team who I put my faith in and gave love to and said go forth and do great things this year, couldn't do it against Fresno State 31-24. In fairness, they looked good, and that's quite a competitive scoreline against the Mountain West champions for a team of UNLV's caliber. And you were right, they were not as good as Fresno State, but what they did need was a solid performance on the road to show that they are heading in the direction. So they didn't win, but they showed they're making progress. But ultimately you were right and they're not there yet.
No, but competitive, yeah. Going up against someone that's got a decent caliber team. If you're able to compete with games like that, then it means that they're closer than they are further away to being on their level.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. UNLV still hold out hope for. Right, that's everything for the Pick Watch. Are there any other games you want to mention? The only other one I sort of had listed here was the absolute smacking that Tulsa got from SMU, who dropped 69 on them, 69-10. But is there anything?
Yeah, 53 at the half, didn't they?
Yeah, I think
they just gave up in the second half and just said, "Yeah, we feel sorry for you."
Yeah, don't roll up the scoreline, but that was a shocker. But any others you want to mention from the weekend that's gone that we haven't? I'm not sure there is, but there's a lot going on this weekend. A lot of upsets, a lot of survivors. But I'm trying to think. I don't think there was anything else major. But
BYU look like a fraud, don't they?
Oh yeah. Oh, they lost to. Oh God, who were they playing this week? It was. Oh, were they playing? Oh, hang on. I've lost my lit. Was it Cincy they were playing, or did they play Cincy the other week? I think they played Cincy the other week, didn't they? Oh, were they playing West Virginia? West Virginia won again. West Virginia won again. Yeah.
They've gone from 5-2 to nearly they've gone from they were 5-1 and now they're 5-3 and yeah. They're a great start to the Big 12 has unravelled very quickly, unfortunately.
Yeah, they had a good non-con slate and then it's just sort of gone wide for them there. But yeah, a lot went on in Week 9, so yeah, great weekend of football. We've got another good one coming up. Just before we do, and we go on to next week's predictions, I've got a question here from Mile Mark. Not a question so much as a statement that maybe we could answer, but it goes, and I'm going to do all these. Thank you to everyone who stayed with us with this. He goes, before you go, and I know it's off topic / won't help, but is there anything nice you could say about Minnesota? I mean, Tyler Nubin. Tyler Nubin's the Minnesota safety? He's absolutely, he's one of, I don't think he's one of your guys, but I think you pegged him as one of the best safeties in the Big Ten. Am I right in thinking that?
Yep. No, I do like him. He's one of the better back-end safeties in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and he is
great uniforms, some of the best helmets in the nation.
Yeah, it's so...
One of the best dressed head coaches.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, I know he's not a good quarterback, but Kelly McManus has got one of my favourite names in college football. I just love saying the name Callie McManus. But in terms of Tyler Newbin, I mean, so I've just got his grades up here. He's grading 90 on the season. His coverage grade is 90 on the season. He's got 4 pressures, 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit. Doesn't do much rushing, but his targets this year, right? He's been targeted 10 times. He's given up 2 receptions for 8 yards. He's got 3 picks, 3 pass breakups. That's legit. Some would say elite numbers from him there. Teams are not going after him, and when they are, he's giving them absolutely bugger all.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the higher safeties taken in the draft. Like I said, he's definitely a strong day 2 option right now that could be a riser. And for me, I don't think this is a great safety draft. Not that I'm aware of right now. I don't think it's the best class.
I mean, I'm just trying to think now. Who would be like the safeties outright at the top of them? Last year, I could have told you them all. This year, I'm struggling to think of safety. Is Sanra still up this year for Michigan? He's the safety, is he? I don't think he's draft eligible yet, but... who did
Jalen Catalon has to decline now, doesn't it?
Oh, he's an injury bust though, and he... You know what? Arkansas stood by him for a long time, and then he buggered off in the portal. I've no love for Jalen Catalon, but... Yeah, it's not the greatest class. This is the cornerback class. This is the cornerback class, not the safety class. Tons of good corners in this draft. But yeah, Tyler Newbin. That's what we can give you about Minnesota. He's amazing. On offense, I mean, I don't think there's much in the terms of receivers, I guess. You'd have to go running back, because that's where they always go. But who's the lead? I think, is it Darius Taylor who's the guy there this year? But yeah. They've got 6 guys in triple figures, so they're spreading it out this year. So yeah, Tyler Newbin there. Right, let us... Hey Lisa, sorry I had a power surge at my end. The weather is rotten and it's been playing with the power lines. So it just knocked everything cold. So apologise about that, but thank you for coming back and joining us again. Right, let us take a look at next week's. We're going on for ages about the games because there were so many good games last week. And we need to look ahead this week. And I've kind of got brutal with the pick watch this week because too many players were picking too many easy teams. So I've not put Mizzou and Georgia in this week, although we're going to talk about that, but I've not put it in because not enough people would be brave enough to pick Mizzou. We're starting off in the MAC on Wednesday, Ryan, and very difficult to pick here, but we've got the bottom of the table fixture in the MAC East. We've got the Kent State Golden Flashes away at the Akron Zips, both of them sporting a 1-7 record on the season, both of them 0-4 in conference. Kent State on a 5-game losing streak, Akron on a 6-game losing streak. Although, belie those numbers, Akron have looked like a decent team this year. They narrowly missed on a Power 5 scalp. I can't remember who it was, but they nearly took a Power 5 scalp in there. They've not been getting blown out in the conferences. And Kent State have not recovered from the loss of Colin Schlee and the running back to UCLA, who I keep forgetting. Oh, God, you remind me, right? Who's the UCLA running back we keep mentioning? They lost a pair of them to UCLA.
Carson Steele?
Yes, that's it. Carson Steele. And they lost Colin Schlee, who also went to UCLA, who was actually playing for them this week. I think Dante Moore got benched, didn't he, for UCLA? And Colin Schlee is now starter for UCLA, so good for him. But we've got a bottom of the table bash here. Kent State at Akron. Who do you have?
I suppose this is where home field advantage really takes effect. Like 2 bottom feeders, you need the crowd, you need the fans to get behind you. So I will take the Zips.
You know what? I'm going to take the Zips as well. We're going to zip up this part of the conversation and we're going to have a sweep to start. Next up, ACC action. Boston College at Syracuse. And Ryan, Boston College, I know we didn't mention them, but they continue to recover from the worst of starts this season. It felt like their season was over a long time ago. But they're now 5-3. They're 2-2 in the ACC. They're just coming off a win against UConn, who are trash this year. But a win is a win nonetheless. And unbelievably, they're on the edge of securing bowl eligibility. And we like the quarterback. He is doing good things there. I really like him anyhow. Think he's going to be a stud in years. Castellanos, Thomas. He had a pretty good game this weekend. I know Emmett Moorhead's in there as well, getting a few snaps. But they're playing Syracuse, who are rock bottom of the ACC, and even with Garrett Schrader and that offense, Syracuse, they've not been talked about this year, but their fall from grace has been huge. But Boston College, we know, on the day they're good. Not on the day, they're incredibly bad. Who have you got here? You've got the Falcons or the Orange?
I'll take BC. Riding the crest of a wave, Castellanos, one of PFF's best college quarterbacks last 2 weeks, I believe. So they're going to cruise to a bowl game, whether it's deserved or not. It's not for me to say, but they should get the job done against an Orange that is just feeling sorry for itself and just praying for the end of the season.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to go on with Garrett Schrader. He's not going to get drafted. He'll be an undrafted free agent. Someone might take pity on him. They might take him as some kind of third or fourth scout team option, but I don't think he's going to get drafted. I'm going with Castellanos as well. Castellanos and the Eagles. Did I say Falcons? I'm so sorry. The Eagles. Sweep for Boston College for us here. Washington at USC. Big Pac-12 game. We've talked about Washington. They're looking nervy, rightly so. These last 2 weeks struggled against Arizona State in a low scorer, struggled against Stanford in a high scorer, and this is it now. You go into the Coliseum. Now I know Utah have just been there and won, but on any given day, USC can beat anybody there with that offense. And Washington, this is it for them. I think this is the big game where they finally prove that they're worthy of the playoffs. But can they manage that expectation? If USC get up on them early, were they going to have the backbone to fight back against that and the defense to do so? Who do you have in this battle of the top of the Pac-12 slobber knocker, as JR would say?
I can only see this going one way, and that is one defense slowing the other down. And that is going to be the Huskies. I don't think they'll stop Caleb Williams. I think they will hold him, and they'll hold USC to a respectable amount. And then Penix Jr. comes in and just does what he has to do. I think it'll be really, really close. I think Washington will just take it. I don't see any way USC stop Washington's offense. They couldn't stop. They couldn't run a hot bath.
There were 99 points in the USC Cal game. I think there'll be more in this one. I think two offenses going to absolutely tee off on one another in a big way, because I think that Washington defense is vulnerable. But I do think they will get the critical stop at the end. I believed in the Huskies for the playoffs. I'm riding with the Huskies to the playoffs. Huskies sweep here against USC. Now we're going to the Big 12, our favourite conference to go to, because it's so unpredictable. And it's rivalry week here, Ryan. Oklahoma at Oklahoma State, and one of the most unlikely turnarounds ever after getting thwomped at home by South Alabama. Oklahoma State's turnaround has just been significant, and I don't mean they've just been winning games. They've been absolutely smashing teams to not non-existence, but they've been putting up some serious points on them. They just beat Cincinnati 45-13. They've put some really good teams away in this resurgence, and Oklahoma are reeling off their first loss of the year. Oklahoma on the road, rivalry game, one of the biggest games of the week. Lot of implications, maybe not for the playoffs anymore, but certainly for the Big 12. Who have you got on rivalry week? Sooners or Cowboys?
Cowboys. I think they will take advantage of the Sooners just dropping a game, and like I say, I think the Cowboys could win the Big 12, and I think that starts this weekend. I think this will be the best game, one of the best games in the nation. But I think they will find a way to cause Dylan Gabriel problems.
See, this is going to be the first time me and you are going to deviate. Oklahoma State have not won me back just yet. They are looking really good. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. It just feels like the Sooners have that little bit more legitimacy about them at the minute, though. But if I'm proved wrong, I'm proved wrong. So you go Oklahoma State, I go Oklahoma. But I think that's going to be another great game and one that I'm intending to watch. It should be on. Brent just quickly goes, woke up Saturday just in time to watch Ott for Cal gain over 130 yards in the first quarter, I think, during my coffee ritual. What a start to the day. Yeah, Ott's performance was spectacular indeed. Who do we have up next? Ooh, Big Ten, Nebraska at Michigan State. Nebraska fresh off cleansing away, I can't remember what I said now. Big win weekend just gone though. Michigan State, I mean, they're a mess, aren't they? Lost to Minnesota in the weekend just gone. Scored a touchdown with about 8 minutes to go and then kicked the onside kick that early, even though they were only one score down at the time, and they ended up giving away another touchdown because of that decision. They are all over the place, but Nebraska, we know what Nebraska are. Not a great football team. Rule is doing some work with them, but they've still got a long way to go. It's the Big Ten, anything can happen. Nebraska at Michigan State, who are you picking?
Matt Rule is a good college coach, and like you say, he's got good. He's made one of the better starts for Nebraska in many years. Let's see if I'm right. And Michigan State, yeah, it's just rough, and I think Nebraska can capitalise on that. Not a great team, but having an okay year. I think they've got more than enough to capitalise on a pretty bad situation and become bowl eligible. They win this to become bowl eligible, I believe, the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, they can. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm going Nebraska as well. Nebraska sweep for us, but this could go anyway. Michigan State are at home. It always counts for something, but they just look like they're determined to lose this, like every game in a different, more humiliating way every week. Now, the SEC, Ryan, you already know where this is going. LSU at Alabama. Ever since that defeat to Florida State, LSU have sort of got back on their feet. That offense is legitimate. Jaden Daniels is legitimate. They're heading to Tuscaloosa. Alabama have just looked meh all season. The defense is what they're really doing with the second half. Alabama is a monster. First half Alabama is just like, a sleeping giant. They just do nothing. But in the second half they're really good. But this really feels like LSU's chance to put one over on them. But Bama they find ways to win games they don't deserve to win this year, which always makes them a dangerous team. So can LSU beat them?
No. I think Tuscaloosa, a really sloppy Alabama team that I've got no faith in, finds a way to defend their goalposts from being torn down and gets 1 foot in the potentially towards a potential title game. I think these are the games Bama live for. When it really hots up, that's kind of when they come out and do their best stuff.
Oh, it's tough, isn't it? This LSU offense is elite, and it's like, if it can tee off on Bama, but they beat Bama last year, and they won the division last year, and it feels like it's very difficult to do it twice against him in a row. So, against all the instinct that my body is telling me, I am also going to go Alabama with you, although in an ideal world I would say LSU, but no, Bama for me as well. Notre Dame at Clemson. I kind of was really excited when I put this in, then I'm like, maybe not. But Notre Dame handed out an absolute hiding to Pittsburgh this week. I think it was 58-10. I mean, Pittsburgh, after just some puzzling wins recently, you wonder how they won them, absolutely annihilated Marcus Freeman seems to be settled now at Notre Dame, but you're heading to Death Valley. No matter how bad they are, they're still really difficult to beat there. And it still feels like Notre Dame have got to prove. They've proven at home. They beat USC, but the USC defense is not very good. This Clemson defense is still elite. It's just its offense has let it down entirely. Who have you got? Notre Dame going to Death Valley at Clemson.
I'm guessing Will Shipley won't play.
No, he's hurt.
Give me Notre Dame by loads. What a crap game. What should have been a great game will be crap. Audric Estime, I think he's going to just run right through him.
Brent goes, LSU had 60 minutes of live practice against my Black Knights a week ago. Yes, they did. 63-0, I believe. I'm just very reticent to bet against Clemson at home. I'm going to go Clemson for no other reason that they're just very difficult to beat there, but Notre Dame probably should win. But I'm going to go Clemson. I do need to take some risks in the pick watch now because I am behind. Big Ten, back there again. I've put it in. The lowest ever over-under in the history of college football, set at 29.5. Iowa at Northwestern. Northwestern just coming off a big win. Very big win. And Iowa can't score many points. This is going to be tough watching. Probably on the level of what the Steelers and Titans will be on Thursday Night Football. But in the battle of the Big Ten slugfest, snowfest, whatever, Iowa at Northwestern, who you got, Ryan?
I'll always take Iowa. They will nullify anything Northwestern think they can do.
Yeah, I'm going to take Iowa as well. But yeah, defense. I think Cooper DeJean will have like 3 return touchdowns just because he'll be so annoyed with that one that got annulled against Minnesota. Northwestern not very good on special teams, so I fancy them to do something there. Utah State at San Diego State, Mountain West, both underperforming big time this year, not really in conversation at the top, if I remember rightly. Obviously, Utah State's championship is very long forgotten about now, even though it was only 2 years ago. San Diego State, they got absolutely hammered the other day, if I'm thinking rightly. In fact, no, they beat Hawaii, but the week before they got absolutely destroyed. And it's been a bad season for both these teams, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Let me just double check where they are. Mountain West. San Diego State are 1-3 in conference, 3-5 overall, and so are Utah State actually. Both on 2-game losing streaks. Who've you got? Bottom of the basement in the Mountain West.
I'll take the Aggies. Give me Utah State.
Ooh, I'm going to take the Aztecs. I'm not sure. The bottom of the Mountain West is a mess this year. I'm all about Air Force and Air Force only. Brent goes, you're wrong again, Anthony. It was only 62-0. Please don't make it worse. Did I say 63? Sorry, Brent. I can't count that high. That's how many points they scored. It's gone beyond my range of counting. And then the last one, Kansas at Iowa State. The spectacle. He's at home. This is his biggest test to date. Iowa State. This is a real big test of their candidacy of whether they can do anything in the Big 12. Kansas coming off the massive upset win against Oklahoma. All the confidence in the world, playing well. Can Iowa State do it? And we're forgetting here, the curse is on. I've put the curse on Iowa State, so you've got to take that into consideration as well. But if you've got Jayhawks or Cyclones.
No, Iowa State already. One of the better defenses Bet is going to play. I just can't see him having a turnover-free game, if I'm honest. I think the Jayhawks win this convincingly, but it won't be a blowout.
I'm kind of bound to at this point, but I've got to back these. I can't just support these teams and then leave them alone. I'm going a Cyclone win. And if he does, Rocco Beck's going to get so much love next week. I will do an entire segment on him if he wins this game. So Rocco, there's a lot on the line for you. So Ryan goes Jayhawks. I go Cyclones. And that's it for the pick watch fixtures. But there are other games we want to talk about before we get out of here, because we have been going a while now and we have had that little hitch in between. Let me just get the ranked fixtures up. Obviously, there's a really big one we need to talk about, right? Missouri at Georgia. The Tigers. Brady Cook, Luther Burden. Luther Burden's one of the best wide receivers in college football, full stop. Done it against all the opposition he's come up against this year. Brady Cook looked really good. Really calm, really composed in the face of a lot of pressure on this Mizzou team, who feel like they're playing under no pressure, because they are under no pressure. They're in Georgia's conference. Georgia have won every game nearly for the last 2 years. They're the juggernaut. They're at home in Athens. They're big favourites for this. But I don't know. There's just something about this Mizzou team that makes me think that they can go there under no pressure, and Georgia haven't looked that great at home this year. Is there a realistic possibility of an upset here? I was going to put it in the pick watch, but I knew the others wouldn't go for it. Can Mizzou beat Georgia?
I kind of thought the same last week with the Gators, of no pressure, total free shot.
Oh, I think the Gators are frauds, but
Missouri are better, but it's the same kind of thing. It's a free hit. But I think Georgia, scarily, are about to hit overdrive. I think the sleeping beast has been woken, and I think Georgia will win. But I think Missouri will make them work really hard for it.
I would love this to be a one-score game. If they can have a one-score game in Athens, I think that just says so much about where they're going. I'm not even that big a fan of Eli Drinkwitz, to be fair. I think most of the stuff I've ever said about him is not nice, but not positive. But I think they can go there, and I think they can give them a really hard game, and they're under no pressure. So I think, yes, a free shot. Not sure they can do it, but we'll see with that. Purdue at Michigan, that's going to be a blowout. That's going to be gone by halftime. They'll be 50 up by halftime. Ohio State at Rutgers. You've put a lot of stock in Rutgers this year. And good stock. They're bowl eligible. Their best season in forever and a day. I mean, is there any realistic... Is this going to be a case of where there's just not enough offense to be able to win this game? Or could the upset be there? They can't be underestimated this year, Rutgers.
See, their team is kind of built around its secondary. It's one of their better secondaries in
the
league. But no, it's like you said. They might be able to hold Ohio State to a certain amount of points, but they can't score any themselves.
No.
I just think they're going to struggle to beat pace. I think they can drag them into a really ugly matchup, and they can make life really difficult for them. But I think they will ultimately just fall short, unfortunately.
Oh, we've got fireworks going off outside. How lovely. Halloween tomorrow. Right, other ranked sides. Tell me where you see an upset. Florida State away at Pittsburgh. That'll get ugly. Cal on the road in Eugene, Oregon. That might not be an upset, but it should be an entertaining one. Penn State away at Maryland. Kansas State ranked 25 away at Texas, ranked 7. Texas A&M on the road to Ole Miss, who are ranked 11th. Virginia Tech on the road to Louisville, who are ranked 15th. Oregon State on the road to Colorado, ranked 16th. Army versus Air Force. In fact, no, we'll come back to that in a minute, because I want to dedicate that especially to Brendan. Arizona State on the road at Utah. UConn on the road at Tennessee, ranked 19. UCLA on the road against Arizona. Tulane on the road against East Carolina. And James Madison on the road against Georgia State. Anything screaming upset there. We'll leave Air Force to the side for 1 minute.
Texas and Ole Miss.
Ooh.
I think they're the two teams that could potentially be a little bit nervous.
Was there not a Utah in there? I thought I might hear a Utah today.
Nope.
No. Okay.
We can beat the bottom feeders and the teams that are in bad form, but I don't think we're going to do much against that defense.
Okay. UCLA at Arizona. Why do I keep wanting to call them the Coyotes? I want to call them the Arizona Coyotes. I don't know why. I don't know why it's in there, but the Wildcats.
That's their hockey team.
Oh, is that why? Oh, okay, that's fair. I mean, UCLA on the road at Arizona. That screams upset to me.
Potentially, yeah. They could make life really hard for them.
Okay, lovely. Oregon State at Colorado. No, Colorado. The Buffs have fallen off. It's unbelievable how quickly that hype train has died now. Like, no one's talking about Colorado anymore. And maybe it's the best thing for them. Who knows? But they look bad this week. Okay, let's finish it off with Army at Air Force. Brent's Army. Don't get in the way of our Falcons. That is all I can say. I'll be really upset with you, Brent, if Army win this week, but I don't know. I've seen these two teams enough this year. I know it's the Commanders in Chiefs trophy, but Air Force they've won so many fixtures in this. They're clear in the series against Navy and that, and they've already beat Navy this year. I mean, could you see an upset with Army?
No. Army are going to get absolutely slapped about. This is going to be ugly.
Yeah, you know what?
They cannot handle anything Air Force is about to throw them on offense.
No, I agree. I think the Air Force have got way too much, but these Commanders in Chiefs game, everything goes out the window. It's just done. I've not seen the unis yet. I'm excited to see what they come up with. I mean, Air Force were wearing some clean blue jerseys at Colorado State, but enjoyed that there. So yeah, Brent, if you could accept one more defeat this week, we would really appreciate that. Because we want the Falcons to go to the New Year's Six Bowl as the G5 representatives. Anything else that sticks out on there? Madison at Georgia State. James Madison. No, they're going to go undefeated this season. I don't think I can see many others. Navy at Temple. No. We're about there. Illinois at Minnesota. Oh, God. You know, you look at all these Big Ten fixtures and they're just... Ugh. Yeah. Boise State at Fresno State. That's a big one for the Mountain West. But, yeah, I think we talked about most ones. Anything else? Any other games you want to mention before we finish this? Brent goes, I'm not looking forward to this game. Air Force is good. Air Force are amazing this year, Brent. Honestly, even as a neutral, playing the triple option, they're very fun to watch.
Who did Tulane play?
East Carolina away, and East Carolina are...
Oh, never mind. That'll be a bloodbath.
Yeah, bloodbath. Absolutely done. I don't think there's anything else in terms
not
of...
A lot of ranked teams don't need to worry this week, I don't think.
I mean, James Madison at Georgia State, but Georgia State got blown out last week, so... I just don't think James Madison are going to lose. I think they're going to be...
They don't stack bad weeks.
No, they do not stack bad weeks at all. Okay, that is everything for Week 10. You will hear us review it all next week, of course, so, join us for that. Appreciate everyone who's joined with us and stuck with us this evening. I know I did get asked earlier on the first part of this show about Michigan. I don't know whether Marcus is still in the chat. If you are, hopefully you are. You'll hear us talk about this, but we need to quickly talk about Michigan. Obviously, this sign stealing thing has become... even me as a big Michigan, not a hater, but as a one who holds them to higher standards, I think this is all a load of nothing, and that there's nothing in this, and there shouldn't be anything. But there's just a little part of me that thinks that this sign-stealing stuff that's running concurrently with the recruiting violations, even if the recruiting violations are bogus, which they are, when you've got two separate investigations running against you at once... to someone on the outside not looking, that immediately says, badly run organisation, something's amiss, and you can see why people think like this. I think it's nothing, but I think the two together might be a little bit of an issue. I don't know, what do you make of it all? I think it's bogus, but what do you think?
I think they're both pathetic. Like you say, Michigan, I don't give a shit if they steal signs or not. They don't need signs to win. But they still won every game that they supposedly knew some of the player calls from. I genuinely think if Michigan want to move on from Jim Harbaugh, because yesterday they pulled that new contract offer, they're distancing themselves from Jim Harbaugh. I think this could be the little string that you pull and it slowly unravels the jumper. I think his time might be coming to an end. And that could be more off, but what's on the field, it'd be off the field. Like you say, maybe to an end. They're going to get fed up with this kind of stuff. If anything else does come out in the next 12 to 18 months, then yeah, there'll be serious concerns about off-field misconduct and this coaching staff as a general, what they're willing to look the other way with, what they're willing to try get away with to take an advantage. And it's a distraction that the Wolverines don't need. They're trying to win a bloody national title, for God's sake. They don't need this bullshit. Like saying Harbaugh, I don't know, it's his legacy at stake. Like it's his reputation on the line. And if he's doing anything to contribute to any of this, then it's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's ridiculous. And yeah, this is coming from people who hold Michigan to higher standard. We think that it's bogus, and I think it'll be proven as bogus. I just worry that the 2 at once might sway opinions here. 2-0 might make a something is my thing. But hopefully it doesn't. Michigan are just kicking everyone's ass, and I think... And did you see that thing where one of the investigators, it turns out, is Ryan Day's brother? One of the investigation committees has Ryan Day's brother on it. It's like, I wonder where this has come from. It's like, yeah, he's involved in this, and it's like, I wonder where Ryan Day's just annoyed that he can't beat Michigan, and he's annoyed that his legacy's getting tarnished with the fact that he can't beat them. And I think he's been very petulant about this. It would not surprise me if Ohio State were the instigators here. So, yeah, it's bogus. That is all I have to say about Michigan. Thanks to everyone for saying you've enjoyed the show. Again, apologies about the little break in there. I cannot help the weather, unfortunately. It's been a pain in the neck here. The podcast will be back tonight. Matt and Ash will be doing their alternative commentary if you want to come and join them for that. I will be doing all our Twitter stuff as always, so if you don't do the audio or watching stuff, you want to message me on Twitter, please do. I'm active all night there. We're looking forward to it. I mean, you have 5 minutes. We'll quickly go through the line stuff. So you were mentioning Rye. So Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to play, which is great. He's expected to start tonight. Devine Ozigbo, the running back, has been signed to the squad, as has Michael Neese, the offensive lineman, which probably means our interior offensive line is going to be...
all out, I'm guessing.
They're all out, basically. Although, on the good side, the Raiders have lost their kicker, Daniel Carlson. He's listed as questionable. They've promoted their practice squad kicker, so got to figure that he is going to have a little bit of an issue playing there. But I mean, quick thoughts on the game before we go. While we've got everyone in the building, do you expect us to win tonight? I don't think the offensive line's going to be an issue. I think if the Bears and their substandard O-line can put 30 on these guys and keep Tyson Bagent, a Division II quarterback, upright, we should be able to as well.
I am officially worried. I don't think we can run Jameer Gibbs through this interior. We've tried it before in a previous game. He got basically killed. I think Max Crosby is probably going to get like 2.5 sacks. I'm hoping that's the only threat they have on defense. I think he's going to take us to the cleaners, I'm perfectly honest, which I can live with because it's expected. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the Raiders have got a really good pass defense. I think it's like top 6 or something. Like it's supposed to be really good. So yes, I'm going to say I am concerned of a potential banana slip.
See,
I'm not confident.
For me, this is a no-win situation. We can only have bad things happen today. If we win, no one bats an eyelid. It's the Raiders. They got blown out by the Bears. If we lose, then good Lord, tomorrow becomes very interesting. Because then the organisation have a very big decision to make about, do they swing and try and keep the season going, or do they just say, we're not close enough, we'll see how we do, we'll get an NFC North title and then we'll really kick on next year. But yeah, this is about how they respond. We talk about teams responding.
They have an absolute must win going into the bye.
Yeah, every time this team has been tested, the Lions, they've responded, which is good. That the Falcons game after the Seahawks, now we've got to show that we can absolutely whomp on these guys. All the frustration from last week, all the anger, all the embarrassment, take it out on these. and do it convincingly. Put some points down on, get up early so you can run the ball. You don't have to risk the pass rush as much. But I'm concerned as well because it's all loss.
If we win, I think we make a big trade tomorrow. If we
Yes,
lose,
I do.
I think they all go out the window.
Yeah, so that's the last thing I'll say. For every Lions fans who are worried about Brad Holmes doing nothing, I'd say I don't think it moves the needle so much, but I think it does move it a little bit. If you win, I think we'll get a trade. If we lose, I don't think we'll get one. I think that's how it's going to go. I don't know who it's going to be, but I think we will. But yeah. Anywho, thank you to everyone who has joined us this evening. We really appreciate you all. It's been good fun. Again, sorry about a little break in between the bits, but yeah, it happens. Hopefully, I'll talk to you again later. If not, you'll see Matt and Ash on the stream, so come join those guys. Me and Ryan will be back next week talking about week 10 of the season, and we'll be looking over it'll be the second iteration of the college football playoff rankings by then. We'll be talking Penn State at Michigan at Penn State, all that good stuff, so join us for that. But yeah, thank you ever so much. You know where to find us, Roar of the Lions UK, all over the internet. You will find us. You'll find even people repping our merch now. We're addictive. So yeah, thanks ever so much. Enjoy the game tonight wherever you're watching it. Let's go Lions. Let's go kill the Raiders. Let's go 6-2. And let's go and sit on the bye week. Let the team heal before we kick the NFC North's ass in the second half of the season. Till then, au revoir.